Hello.
And to you, good day.
Good to you. Um, Going back to the questions about dreams.
Yes.
I've been experiencing very vivid dreams most of my life.
Yes.
Very picturesque, very much details, and I remember
All
them.
right. How exciting.
I know. I love it. I think that's great. Recently, I would say probably in the past couple of years, I've been experiencing very similar dreams, but there's always one particular, call it sidekick element, person, creature. I'm not really sure
Yes.
that. Whereas everything is clear, it's always very cloudy, very foggy.
Yes.
I feel connected to it. I
Yes.
feel a relationship with this particular
Yes.
creature.
Yes.
But I'm never able to visualize it. It will slowly let me see some parts of it, but I can
Yes.
never get a clear image of it.
And what makes you think there's something wrong with that process?
Well, I guess I don't think there's something wrong per se, but I'm just curious to maybe know, am I holding myself back
No.
in the understanding
No.
of it?
No.
Okay.
You're being given as much as is appropriate to give to you, as much as you need to know
Okay.
at any given moment. It'll keep going. It'll keep expanding. It'll get clearer. You have to trust the timing.
Okay.
That's all.
Okay.
Yes?
Perfect. Makes sense.
Anything else?
Yeah, sure. As far as it kind of sparked my interest when you started talking about the Mayans and I guess previous
Maya.
culture, Maya. One of the questions I have is back in Italy, one of the major populations that is extinct now was the Etruscans.
Yes.
And there's in some of the I guess the records that we have, they do indicate interactions with extraterrestrials.
Yes. From time to time, they had them.
Okay, so I guess my question is, were they just exposed to extraterrestrials, or did they have any connections with it? Are they
You
involved?
all have connections, but yes, in terms of your classic idea of interactions in physical reality, now and then they experienced interactions and contact with different forms of extraterrestrials.
My next question is, before we fall asleep,
Yes.
can we ask to meet or together with the energy of our prior past lives? In other words, are there
They're not
steps?
prior, they exist right now, so of course you can connect.
Okay.
Everything exists right now. There's no such thing as the past. There's no such thing as the future. That's illusion. What you call past and future are simply different parallel realities that you consider to be the past or the future from your particular space-time perspective. But they all exist right now. That's why you can connect to them. If they actually were in the past, you'd never be able to do so.
Understood. And so that would tie in also with family members or friends that might have passed away.
Whomever.
Got it. Perfect. And then my next question is, if the goal is to raise or increase our vibration, will there ever come a time in this life, in which we can master the tuning of our frequencies, much like we would change the radio dial?
Yes.
Okay.
And many people on your planet can already do so. You already have certain kinds of teachers and masters who have that kind of control, do you not? Shamans and so on and so forth.
Okay. Yeah.
So yes, of course, the potential exists within all of you. And the secret is, you're all doing it all the time. It's not that you have to learn to do it. You have to learn to become more aware of the fact that you're already doing it. That's the secret.
Okay.
Because you're shifting billions of times per second through billions of parallel realities per second. So you're already changing completely, moment to moment to moment to moment to moment. All you have to do is let your mind catch up to the fact that that's already going on, and the world will explode before you into a magical experience.
Understood. Okay.
Does that help?
Yep, it does.
And
Thank you.
thank you. You're welcome.
Hello.
And to you, good day.
Thank you. I'd like your advice.
Oh, all right. The doctor is in.
Good. I grew up with not knowing who my parents were,
Oh, all right.
and I've recently found my mother.
Yes.
I'd like to find my father.
Go right ahead.
I'd like to know how to go about doing that.
Check the records of certain family organizations in your area called Wisconsin.
Okay.
See what happens.
All right.
See where that leads you.
Okay. I'll do that.
Anything else?
That's it.
All right, thank you. Happy hunting.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me this evening.
All right, and to you, good day.
Thank you. With having to do with dreams, for as long as I can remember, I'll wake up just really scared. Sometimes I'll be screaming or hyperventilating
How exciting for you.
just crying
Yes.
very scared. And
Do you feel out of control?
yes,
All
and
right.
I won't even be able to remember at all what I've dreamt about.
Do you understand the idea of what we have termed the hybridization agenda?
Not really.
Do you understand the term alien abduction?
Yes.
You're part of it.
Can you explain more to me, like in what aspect?
Well, you have agreed on a certain level of spirituality to participate in the evolutionary program of the earth, where beings from a parallel reality that you call the Greys will usually take people such as yourself aboard their ships and extract DNA material, genetic material, to create a hybrid species that will allow their particular culture to continue, because they pretty much destroyed their own culture and need viable human DNA to continue their society. They have created many forms of hybrids. You are part of that program in terms of donating your particular genetic material to the creation of many different forms of hybrid beings. But the idea is that this has been going on for quite some time, but you've never really been given the tools to understand that from another level you made an agreement to do this. And so anytime that these beings come and take you from where you are aboard their ships or shift you into a different reality, you feel out of control because you don't really know what's going on, or your physical mind is simply in the dark. But there's really nothing to be afraid of. You can actually ask for more awareness of what is going on so that you can have these experiences with more consciousness and on your own terms.
That actually reminded me of I was at the Contact in the Desert in Joshua Tree,
Yes.
and you had mentioned that because of the higher frequency levels that we might feel afraid.
Yes.
And I actually, right around the time, I believe it was like 12 or 1 o'clock, that you had said that to expect something.
Yes.
I became very afraid, just terrified, the most
Yes.
afraid I've ever been in my life. I just
Yes.
wanted to leave. I told my boyfriend, like, forget our stuff, just leave our stuff. We have to go. Like,
Yes.
And
This is one of the reasons why we don't have open contact with all of you yet. Because the idea is as follows. Now, certain beings this doesn't happen with. Especially doesn't really happen with the Greys exactly, although there's a form of it. Remember that your body has a form of its own consciousness. And one of the things that is very strong in the human body is the idea of a survival mechanism. The fight or flight mechanism. When it senses something that may be, in appearance, something that can threaten your survival. The energy of many extraterrestrial beings, including our own, is on a much, much higher frequency than yours, because many of you are compartmentalized, fragmented within your consciousness. You're not coherent, you're not integrated, so your frequency is relatively low compared to ours. When you believe or feel the greater field of energy that we possess coming into contact with your fragmented field, it tends to force certain things to the surface that you haven't integrated within yourself yet, and that can cause a fear, fight or flight reaction, a survival mode reaction in your body that makes you run.
Yeah, and it was strange. We just went like right down the street, like maybe not even a mile away from the actual campsite.
Yes.
We were at, and then I felt much better, and
Yes.
it sounds strange, but I felt like I had a positive experience. I got a lot of information.
You did, especially knowing that energy showed you that you're still unconsciously holding on to certain ideas and definitions and beliefs that don't allow you to fully release and be yourself and be free to have the experience in a more positive way. So it's about examining the idea of what you're really afraid of and letting those things go so that you can be more of yourself and raise your frequency. Know that you're in control of this, know that you made an agreement, and that you can again participate in this on your own terms with more conscious control and awareness. But that process is going to take as long as you're willing to allow it to take. Yet again, you are willing to see that you have learned something. So that's a step in the positive direction.
Okay.
Yes?
Another thing, I used to be very confident in myself.
You're still confident. It's just that you're now confident about your lack of confidence. No, I'm serious. You cannot be not confident. That's not possible. You're always confident about something. It's just that now your belief systems are revealing themselves to show you that one of the things you are most confident about is that you lack confidence. But you're confident about that, so you don't lack confidence. There's the paradox for you to play with.
Thank you.
It's about learning to be confident in what you prefer. You don't have to learn to be confident. You're already confident. Just be confident in what you prefer to be confident about instead of what you don't prefer to be confident about, such as lacking confidence, which is not possible. There's no such thing as a lack of confidence. There's no such thing as a lack of trust. There's no such thing as a lack of control. Because when you experience being out of control, you're controlling that. When you feel like you don't trust, you trust that to be true.
Thank you. Okay, and then sorry to go back about Joshua Tree and I guess also the Greys that
Yes.
I had an idea about the Greys that just kind of had come to me at one
Yes.
point that
Yes.
in a parallel reality or what we
Yes.
would call the future, it was us, specifically our planet that we wanted to travel or whatever, and that's why, and we became kind of biomechanics, or we did something to ourselves.
It's a parallel Earth, and on that Earth, the advancements disconnected them in a mental way from their nature, and they destroyed their environment in the same similar way that you are destroying yours. They had to mutate themselves from human into gray in order to survive, but still realized they were going to die out if they didn't find a source of viable human DNA to continue their civilization by creating hybrids. So they used their advanced technology to tunnel through parallel realities such as yours to find DNA they could use to create hybrid beings like ourselves and others, so that they could not only continue their particular society, but so that we could also recognize the same patterns in your society and share this information with you so you don't have to walk down the same destructive path.
Okay, and then I don't know if it's related to that or the fact that you said that I've been abducted.
Yes.
But sometimes
That's just a word that a lot of you use. You have
Thank
simply been invited to participate.
I understand, but there's been circumstances where my boyfriend and I, and even at first he was like, where I felt like I'm being watched, and even where he didn't necessarily believe me, and he's even seen things that
Yes.
have caused him to believe me.
Yes.
And so that is,
Yes.
all right.
All right.
Okay, I guess that's.
So now you know that's happening. So you can have more conscious awareness and more conscious control of your participation in it if you're willing to. But there's nothing to be afraid of.
Okay, and then this is the last thing.
Yes.
After Joshua Tree, for about 2 weeks after that, late at night, I would hear a very, I can't describe it any other way than an alien noise. It's almost what you would expect to hear from a sci-fi movie, the noise that they play anyway, that I would hear that, and I would see a blue light, or a light that
Yes.
that's not coming from any source.
Yes.
And
Well, it
even
is coming from a source. It's just that it's coming from an interdimensional source.
A source that I can't. Even at one point, I had woken up.
Yes.
And when I awoke, it was the best way I can describe it is the Agent Orange thing, where they have somebody's eyes pried open and they show all these pictures.
Yes.
And so that's the kind of what I experienced, just a bunch of pictures flashing in my head.
You
And it
have
ended.
been shown many pictures telepathically about the possibility of your world going down the same path as the Greys.
And it ended on I want to say a silhouette of a very tall, thin man, but what it was it was black, and the man was the light.
Yes, but you were looking at the mantis.
So it's a mantis.
What people on your planet refer to as the mantis beings are the ones in charge of the hybridization agenda over the Greys. They bear a resemblance to the praying mantis insect on your planet, so are basically very tall and thin.
Okay.
Now, do you understand? Do you understand that you have hybrid children?
Oh, I didn't before. I guess I do now that you've said that.
Oh, very good. But that's a story for another time for you. Right now, at this time, before you go to sleep, just take a few deep breaths and say, all right, I'm ready to understand my relationship with you, my agreement with you from a more conscious perspective, so I may participate on my own terms more openly, more clearly.
Okay.
All right? And see what happens. If you feel fear, that's all right. You can take it a step at a time and say, all right, wait a minute, let me get used to this, and then see if it passes. They will cooperate and they will work with you if you are willing to open up.
All right.
And you can do it in whatever way works for you. All right?
Okay.
Now, one moment.
Okay.
What's your favorite scent?
Oh man. Tea tree.
Is that a guess?
Well, I like essential oils. Like I like a lot of scents. Like I could think of like a favorite perfume I have.
What would be the one that would allow you to feel calm?
Yeah, probably
At
lavender.
ease? All right. Then it would probably be helpful as a permission slip for you to have that scent prominent in your room when you go to sleep, when you're asking for more conscious participation, so that you will be more at ease, knowing that you are creating, with the lavender scent, the environment that you prefer in which that exchange and encounter can occur.
All right, thank you.
So you're bringing something to the party.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
You're not arriving empty-handed and going, oh no, I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
Yes? Bring something to the party. It will help.
Okay. Sorry. I know I said the last thing was last thing, but this. An idea that I had on my own about why I was so fearful in my dream was about visiting alternate realities or alternate dimensions. And I thought, like, even one time I woke up and I had said, without even realizing what I was saying, hold on, I have to finish coming back into this reality, because people were talking to me.
Yes.
So,
because you are shifted to other realities in many of those encounters.
Oh, okay, wow. All right.
So don't worry, you won't get stuck.
All right.
You'll find your way back no matter what.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. I'm going to say good day to you this day of your time. How are you all? All right. Thank you. Once again, we thank each and every one of you individually and all of you together collectively for the co-creation of this interaction this day of your time. We begin this transmission with the title, Dream World. Where do you go when you dream? What do you do? Now, as we have discussed a few times, there are many types of what you call dreams. Some of them are just what many people think, where you may be reinvestigating, revisiting the things of the day, processing information mentally, emotionally, planning out certain things, coming to certain conclusions while you sleep that might be easier for you to put together when your conscious mind is out of the way, off to the side. However, there are those things you remember as dreams that your physical mind puts together out of available symbols, available props to help you remember something at least akin to or close to an experience you might have had on another realm, on another dimensional level. For many times you will go traveling out of your body, so to speak, in dream time, and come back with a story, with a tale, with an adventure, with an experience that your physical mind puts together in some form so that you can remember that something did happen. It may not always be absolutely representative of what you experienced in the other realm. It will at least be symbolically experiential for you to be able to interpret certain ideas that you bring back with you from those adventures in order to apply them in your physical reality, because after all, physical reality is just another type of dream. Before we continue, I remind you That spirit is your natural state, and you never ever leave it. You are there right now, all of you, but a portion of your higher consciousness is dreaming that it's no longer in spirit. And that's what physical reality is. A dream that you are not where you are. It's a projection of consciousness to give yourself a focus that you can allow a certain kind of experience to happen within your consciousness so as to discover yourself from a new point of view in a very particular way through process, through physical experience. And it is very valid as a type of dream. But that's what it is, a type of dream. So, the more you allow yourself more awareness, more conscious awareness, more lucidity in the dream state itself, the more lucid you can also become in the physical dream by bringing back the information that you need to allow you to do so. But let's continue with the idea of what goes on in the dream world. Now, this is mostly happening in what most people on your planet refer to as the lower astral realm, a vibrational level of reality, of spirit reality that is still very close to the idea of the frequency of physical reality, and therefore certain kinds of experiences are more likely than others to be had in the dream world. In other words, being that you are still very strongly connected to the concept of physical reality and not actually dying and going farther into the spirit world, so to speak, not fully waking up in spirit, but touching in here and there, you still will generally create certain kinds of experiences in the dream world, in the lower astral realm, that are at least to some degree reminiscent of some of your experiences in general in physical reality. So, for example, you may decide to hang out with your soul family in the dream experience, having fun, exchanging ideas, sharing experiences, but generally speaking, you will attempt to do so in some sort of familiar setting. So in other words, in the dream reality, you may decide with your soul family to create a kind of house or a party environment or something that seems similar to what you might experience in a gathering in physical reality. You will create this out of your consciousness very quickly, because in the dream world, in the lower astral realm, time and space are not what they are, not experienced as they are in physical reality. So there are many things you can do very quickly as you think of them, so they will appear. And in the dream world, you can have many different kinds of experiences in different kinds of environments. As you imagine them, they will appear for you. So if for some reason you feel like you want to fly, you will fly, creating for yourself the idea of levitation from a physical ground level service and going on a flying adventure through the clouds or over the mountaintops. Or you may decide to visit a neighborhood that has been created by many people who might live in the lower astral realm for a while before they continue on to higher spiritual realms. Many people will create very familiar kinds of ideas of houses or other kinds of buildings and trees and valleys and mountains and what have you, and lakes and streams, with the idea of animals and all sorts of other kinds of beings interacting with them in the lower astral realm to express the idea of what it is they wish to experience there. But again, in the lower astral realm, things are not always exactly as they may appear in physical reality. For example, if you visit one of those neighborhoods that might be created by like-minded individuals in the lower astral realm before they continue on to higher spiritual levels, you may find that every single house in that neighborhood will look a certain way. It might be made out of stone. It might be something from what appears to be the past. It might be something from what appears to be the future. You might find that as you step outside one of those dwellings and look toward the idea of a sunset, that the sun might be blue. The sun might be square. You might have 5 moons in the sky. It depends on what everyone has worked out in that neighborhood for what represents the kind of experience they would like to have while they choose to inhabit the lower astral realm to gain other kinds of experiences. So a great many kinds of imaginary experiences can be had there, and very often you will create very specific kinds of adventures with your friends in the lower astral realm for things that cannot necessarily be experienced in your life in your physical reality. You will allow yourself, perhaps, if you have a house that you dream of having in physical reality, create that house in the lower astral realm and get used to living in it and make changes. This is very close to the idea of what we have called the template level reality, where you kind of design your physical experience and things that you wish to experience in physical reality when you wake up in the morning. We use quotes because you're actually going back to sleep when you wake up in physical reality, and you're actually waking up when you go to sleep at night and have a dream. So the idea is that in the template level, you may decide to arrange things in a certain way to have certain experiences in physical reality when you wake up in the morning on that day or some day in the future. But all of that planning takes place in that template level, in the lower astral realm, because again, it's so vibrationally close to the idea of physical reality, and yet very much removed, because you can have certain kinds of experiences there that simply don't match the kinds of experiences you have in physical reality. Now, in that lower astral, there are also many other kinds of beings, including the idea of those beings on a, well, I'll say lower astral realm, really close to physical reality, still in spirit, but really close to physical reality, of those individuals who may not even necessarily know that they have died. So you can run across the idea of what you call ghosts that may be haunting their old house. You can run across many different kinds of beings there that are playing out certain scenarios for themselves in a variety of ways. Many of you actually interact with some of those spirits. Many of you even help participate with their spirit guides in helping to convince them that they've actually died. These are the kinds of adventures you can have there. But as long as you still remain in exploring the theme of physical reality, you will always maintain that vibrational energy connection to the physical world. You will not really go that much farther into the idea of the higher spirit until you actually sever that connection. That's why many times when people are in the dream world, in the lower astral, when they have out-of-body experiences, astral traveling, so to speak, they will describe the idea of your connection to physical reality as a kind of energy cord, what you typically refer to as the silver cord. That's simply an energetic symbol way of representing the idea that you have not yet finished your theme of exploring the physical dream. So there will be a representation that sort of anchors you or ties you still to the physical reality. More often than not, it is interpreted as this kind of silver cord. Although, again, it's a symbol that is interpreted by your mind in order to have some sense of understanding of what it is that is. It's not necessarily experienced that way or seen that way from the higher spirit realm. It's mostly just seen as a vibrational color that you exhibit, that you give off, that is in your so-called energetic aura, that still indicates that you are still exploring a theme in physical reality. And therefore the higher spirits, your spirit guides, so on and so forth, will be able to simply recognize by that spiritual color where it is you're at and how far you're actually going to go in that astral realm on your adventures. But they're very happy to speak with you, very happy to communicate with you on that level. And in that level as well, do some extraterrestrial contacts also occur. Because again, different kinds of extraterrestrials, including us, can alter their vibration in order to experience the idea of the realms near to your physical reality. Being that they are slightly removed from your reality, actually acts as a buffer zone to make it easier to have contact with you and explore certain ideas of what you will experience in your physical reality when you reawaken in it. And so many kinds of contact experiences are actually happening in that dream world, in that lower astral realm. And again, sometimes you may wake up and go, oh, well, I remember interacting with some sort of an odd being in what seems to be some sort of a giant school bus or something. I don't know. That's your mind attempting to make sense from the symbols at hand in your physical world out of what may have actually been an encounter on a spaceship. Because again, the things that are projected from our consciousness into your reality have to take on certain forms that make sense to your physical mind in order for you to be able to actually use the props to construct the memory that you had some sort of an experience. What you call the dream that you remember upon awakening. Now, sometimes it can be a little bit more literal and sometimes it can be a little bit more symbolic or abstract. But the idea of the energy vibration is there, and if it feels like there was a high degree of strangeness or oddness to the idea of the dream, that's usually an indication that the symbol you're remembering in your dream is not necessarily the actual thing you experienced, but some sort of a screen that gives you something to hang on to, something familiar to understand, so you can piece together an understanding of some kind of an adventure, some kind of an experience. Does this make sense? All right. So we would then suggest that when you go to sleep tonight, before you actually fall asleep, ask yourself, speak out loud and ask for assistance from your spirit guides, from other beings in the astral realm, to give you more conscious awareness when you awake in the physical world of exactly what was going on in that dream world, so that you can become more lucid in that reality, realize that that's where you are in the dream. Then you can begin to also allow more lucidity to leak into the dream of physical reality, because there really isn't that much difference between the idea of the dream of physical reality and the dreams you experience in the dream world in the lower astral realm. It's a division that is a very fine frequency difference. It's not as big as you think it is. You just have a certain set of belief systems that make you think that the gap is bigger than it is, that the separation and the difference between the physical world and the dream world is very different, very much more different than it actually is. But it's really a very, very thin, hair-fine difference in frequency. So when you allow yourself to know that the veil is very thin between the two, and that the veil is simply something you're creating with your belief systems, you will begin to experience more and more, shall we say, leakage from the lower astral realm into the physical dream, and vice versa, where you can become more lucid in both and create yet again a third reality in which you can experience the idea of walking in your dream, waking in your dream, and always constantly dreaming in the same way that my civilization does, because we walk through dimensions all the time. It is our natural state at this point in our evolution to always be awake and always be dreaming and always experience through our imagination and connections to our higher minds multidimensional experiences with every step we take. It takes some getting used to, but you'll get there. So, allow yourselves to understand that what we are imparting to you this day in this particular transmission is not only the words that you hear, but the vibration of a higher realm, a higher reality of the astral realm, so as to infuse you with more potential and more probability when you go to sleep tonight to open up to the idea of being more aware of what you're doing in the dream world and bringing that information more clearly back with you through that thin veil into the physical dream, so you can begin to truly wake up in both realities, in both dream states, and start to blend them together into a life that contains far more imagination, far more magic, far more manifestation that is in line with who you truly are and who you prefer to be. Does that make sense? Then, before we continue then with this transmission, we will wish you all pleasant dreams. We thank you for allowing us to share this idea with you, to drop that seed into your consciousness so that it may grow. And in return for the gift you are giving us, I ask, in what way now may we be of service to you? Please begin with your conversations, dialogues, and questions if you wish.
Hey, Bashar.
And to you, good day.
Thank you for being here. Thank you for this transmission. It's awesome. Very excited to hear it.
All right, thank you. It is our passion and our pleasure.
So I had a dream maybe a week ago where I was in an airplane.
Yes.
And I landed or went down like on a highway.
Yes.
And next thing I knew, I'm driving with my friend. And I'm like, something's not right here. We were just in an airplane.
Yes. See what I mean? About the strangeness, the oddness. There are different kinds of vehicles that exist in the lower astral realm that are representative of some of the vehicles that sometimes penetrate into your reality that you call UFOs.
Right. Is there anything you can tell me about that dream?
I just did.
Anything else?
Well, you went from a larger craft to a scout craft.
Okay.
You understand?
Yep.
So you were in a larger craft with more people, the airplane, and then you got into a smaller vehicle to go back down to the physical reality path, road that you chose to walk, to drive. So you took a different vehicle to get back into physical reality.
Right.
Many times this will be represented by such a smaller vehicle. Sometimes it will be represented by suddenly having to go down a staircase from where you were. Sometimes it will be represented by having to go down an elevator from where you were. These are various symbols that represent being done with the adventure there, and in your mind, dropping back down into a lower frequency to go back into the physical dream.
Right. Okay.
Does that help?
That does. And
All right.
was that a Yael connection?
A little bit. There was more to it than that. But yes, that was involved.
Okay. Anything else that you can tell me about other beings?
Such as?
Well, you said that it's partly Yael. I don't know who.
I did.
Would there be?
So you want to know about the part I didn't tell you about?
Ideally, yes.
I see. And why do you think I didn't tell you about it?
I didn't need to know.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Yes? Anything else?
Yes, one other question. In my house,
Yes.
there is a banging or a clanging noise that seems to happen about once a day.
Yes.
And
From any particular place?
I can't exactly locate it, but I think it's up towards the ceiling.
Someone trying to get your attention?
Yes.
All right. And what happens when you experience that? What kind of a state do you go in?
Well, I pay attention to what it is I'm thinking or saying at that time, and I'm like, ah.
And is there some particular consistency with what you're thinking when that happens?
Yeah, it's usually that I feel like I'm on the right track.
So you're using that as your synchronistic symbol to let you know when you're in alignment with your true self?
Yes.
All right. Well, that's coming from your higher mind.
Okay.
Remember, the higher mind communicates in energy, in frequencies of energy. It can and often actually does affect the physical reality dream by creating certain vibrations that will manifest as certain sounds and other physical phenomenology in physical reality.
Okay. Cool.
Your body feeling the communication through the auspices of passion is not the only way that the physical mind has of communicating or reaching into the physical reality. It can get your attention in a number of ways. So, are you paying attention to it?
Yes, absolutely.
So you're acting on your highest passion every moment that you can to the best you can with no insistence on the outcome and remaining in a positive state no matter what happens all the time?
Yes,
All right.
mainly.
You were just under the wire there in terms of your hesitation.
Yeah, it doesn't happen all the time. It happens most of the time.
All right. Thank you for your honesty. Anything holding you back from it happening all the time?
Well, so I've been exploring that, and what
All
I
right.
recently came to was I think the core belief of I'm not worthy.
And why would you still be holding on to that? If you are experiencing your joy and your true self and your true vibration most of the time, what is it about the times you're not doing that that seems so much more real that you would hold back at those times? What's the difference between those times? Where you do feel worthy and so experience your joy, and then in certain circumstances don't feel worthy. What's the difference between those circumstances in your definitions?
Well, it seems like I'm looking inward at those times.
Which times?
The times when I feel like I'm not worthy.
And
And the times when I feel like, or when I know I am worthy, my focus is just on the world outside of me.
And so why are you making a difference between the outer and the inner?
I shouldn't.
Well, it's not about should or shouldn't, but why are you? Can it be simply as simple as you believe there is a difference when there actually really isn't?
Yeah, that must be it. I think that I'm still
Yes.
coming to grips with the idea that the external world is actually contained within my consciousness.
All right. Well, but you are open and willing to understand that the outer world isn't real unto itself and is nothing but a projection of your consciousness, yes?
Yeah.
So the more that you wrap your mind around that understanding and that knowledge, do you believe that your sense of unworthiness when you look inward will begin to lighten up?
Yeah, it definitely will.
And if you do, in fact, examine your beliefs and find that you're still holding on to something that says you're not worthy, are you willing to work with that in that moment and stay in that state at that moment and find out what the belief is really saying about you?
For sure.
All right.
That's what I want to
So you
figure
will
out.
keep walking that path then, yes?
Keep walking it, yes.
Yes, all right. So anything else?
Hello, Tadeo.
Nania.
We have so many great questions from our viewers.
All right.
Okay, and the first one has to do with the handout. What happens if we do a misstep on one of these steps? Like if we look into a conspiracy theory or get into some religious spiritual argument with someone. If we notice it, learn from how it feels and adjust, are we back on track, so to speak? Is there anything more we need to do if that happens?
No. If you learn from it, then if you go back into the instruction in the way it was delivered, then you are back on track. So learn a lesson, learn why you may have desire to engage in that way, and then get back into the vibrational state as encouraged by the step. And realize that it's not necessary to venture that way again. Unless you do, then again, learn from it, learn why you chose to go in that direction. This can be used, like a lot of other things, to determine what your belief systems are and why you choose to do what you do. So if you use it that way, then you are learning, you are growing. But again, the idea is to realize that there is no need to do it and that following the instruction more precisely will be to your advantage in creating the vibrational frequency that will bring you into alignment with contact and the interstellar alliance, if that is what you prefer.
Okay. And in step one, you said not to engage in discussions about conspiracy theories in general. Given that the UFO cover-up has been considered as conspiracy theory, but is an actual conspiracy, would engaging in conversation about it be considered going against the rule of step one?
No, because it is beyond theory at this point. There are too many witnesses, too many sources, too many verifications from many different people. And therefore, it is out of the category of theory. So you can research, you can discuss. It has been suppressed and covered up. At this point, it is relatively obvious that there is enough research, enough validation from so many different sources of different types that you can consider it to be something that is real.
And does watching videos or stories about true or not true conspiracy theories and stories go against the interstellar experiment? What I mean is, I enjoy watching these forms of entertainment without being emotionally affected.
If it is research, if you can remain neutral in observing all of the input from those particular presentations, then it is research. But the idea is to allow yourself to pay attention to whether you are becoming caught up in it once again, if you ever were, and to remain neutral in the observation of those things so that you don't necessarily develop a strong opinion in one direction or another about what is true about them or not.
if it is too challenging for you to not form an opinion, to not have strong perspectives on what it is you are watching, what it is you are absorbing, then again, it would be best for now to back off and remain neutral and maybe not absorb as much of the information. But if you can remain completely neutral, completely objective, and allow it all to simply be information for the purpose of research, then it is fine. But you have to pay attention honestly as to whether that's what you're doing or not.
Okay, and because you will be discussing in step 3 writing letters to specific individual officials around the globe regarding disclosure of UFO contact, and in doing so providing specific wording for us to use, I would appreciate if you could also give us instructions for non-native speakers of English. Is it okay to translate the wording you provided into our own native language and use it in whatever ways you may suggest? And is it okay to share what I have translated with the people of my own country who would also like to join the social experiment, so they can also send letters to specific individuals?
Yes, that is fine. However, one suggestion we would have would be, don't necessarily rely on your own translation unless you are a professional interpreter, a professional translator who is absolutely certain that your translation is accurate in terms of the intention and meaning behind the words that are delivered in English. So you can translate it into different languages, but for those who are not proficient at the translation, then we would suggest that you find someone who is and ask them if the translation, or ask them to translate it in a way that captures fully the exact meaning of the original language. So if you can do that, and you can know that it is accurately representative, then that is fine.
And also, one question that came up, some individuals may feel anxiety about being perceived as some sort of target or part of some conspiracy or something in their land. And what are some suggestions for dealing with anxiety about, in a sense, sticking out or making yourself, I guess you'd say, a target or something like that?
Well, this simply goes back to some of the original ideas we have discussed for many years. You have to examine your belief system and find out why you are perceiving this in a fear-based or negative way. If the idea is too challenging for you, then as we have said, it's up to you to decide not to be a part of the social experiment. As the word implies, it is a social experiment, which means it requires interaction with society. So if you find that too challenging and are unable to let go of any fear-based or negative beliefs you have surrounding your participation in this social experiment, then don't participate. Otherwise, get in touch with your belief systems as to why you believe that it would be a negative thing to move forward in this way, and learn to let them go. Learn to let those beliefs go. Learn to transform them into something more positive so that you can be coming from your self-empowerment, your indestructible core. But again, as always, it is up to you to decide whether this is something that you are capable of participating in or not.
And also the idea of, I guess, thousands of letters going out all over the planet. What do you anticipate would be the reaction from administrative levels of our planet to that kind of thing, onslaught happening?
One particular reaction would be that they understand that there is organization to these thoughts, that there is unification to these thoughts, that there is similarity beyond borders, beyond cultures. This is something that can awaken them to realize that this is an important issue to look at, an important issue to address. Beyond that, there is no insistence or expectation, but we know that that recognition will occur in many individuals when they see a massive amount of individuals, regardless of country, regardless of background, regardless of other belief systems, unified in the idea of requesting the release of this information.
Okay. And when you talk about the hybridization agenda by the Greys, it sounds like humanity agreed to it in some higher level, that the Earth becoming the sixth hybrid race is a part of that agenda, and this has already been decided. If humanity on a conscious level became aware of this as a fact, it would have been looked at as a silent, covert invasion and not something positive or beneficial. I suppose this is why it is being carried out in secret from the majority of the population. How would you explain this conundrum? Is the slow drip disclosure a part of making the general population accustomed to the idea? Would not carrying out this agenda result in humanity going the path of the negative timeline the Greys experienced? And
No.
without white lies, how would you explain it if you had an opportunity to have a transmission that the entire Earth could hear?
Again, the idea is that understanding your connection to your galactic family, awakening to your true potential, awakening to the agreements that you have made for the evolution of humanity would do exactly the opposite of allowing you to go down the negative path that the Greys took. It would allow you more opportunity to choose the path that you prefer in a positive way. The idea of secrecy is, as you say, euphemistically, a kind of drip system that allows humanity to get used to the idea, but it is also what gives humanity the time to awaken and remember that they made this agreement, so that it doesn't feel forced, so that it doesn't feel like an invasion, as you say, so that you can take responsibility for the part you are playing in having made an agreement from a higher level to aid and assist in the evolution of humanity in this format, in this way. And it is the acceptance of this responsibility and the awakening to the memory of the choice that you made as a collective that would allow you to be able to choose a more positive path and not go down the path that the Greys took in their reality.
And so the idea of this being a timeline for humanity, it's just one timeline. So of course there will be those individuals who would not want to participate in this direction for humanity.
Yes, and they will have their own reality. They will move on and proceed as if this didn't happen. There are many versions of Earth and many different scenarios that you can navigate to that will fit what you prefer based on the belief system you hold to be true.
So someone who's highly focused on the Earth and ecological issues and wanting the planet to become more and more beautiful and not with conflict, a peaceful, wonderful place, heaven on earth, so to speak. They can have that experience without becoming part of the hybridization timeline. Is that correct?
Yes, of course. Again, there is a kind of mass consensus in large part with humanity to have agreed to the idea of aligning with open contact and aligning with the idea of the hybridization program, aligning with the vibration of the Interstellar Alliance. Obviously, what we are suggesting in these steps are the steps that are necessary to align with that particular Earth reality for those who have chosen it. But yes, of course, there is always the availability of other versions of parallel realities, parallel versions of Earth, that don't necessarily include what it is that we are suggesting in these steps. And that is why we tell you it's up to you to decide to participate or not, so that you can feel it out for yourselves as to what kind of reality you have chosen to prefer, you have chosen to be a part of. what group you have chosen to navigate to different Earths with. However, the vast majority of individuals who are exploring the idea of the expansion of consciousness on your planet at this time, again, not that all of them have to have chosen this, but the vast majority, as we perceive it, of those who are exploring the expansion of consciousness have agreed to participate in this particular form of humanity's evolution. And those are the ones we are speaking to. And only those. All right, I'll say good day. We now deliver the Interstellar Alliance Social Experiment Step 3, where we introduce a specific action in the form of a communication to the officials on your planet having to do with the idea of the revelation of information connected to what you term UFOs, UAPs, and extraterrestrial activities, information, and knowledge. We have crafted a specific letter for you to send out. We have transmitted this through the channel with very specific wording. The wording of this letter should be given out verbatim, so it is up to you to copy it intact, adding nothing, subtracting nothing. It will serve a very specific purpose of timing for things that are to come up in your near future, and build a momentum of energy that can lead toward the acceleration of the probability of open contact on your planet. But again, it is up to you to decide to participate in sending this letter out in the way that it is instructed to do so. But again, the degree to which you are willing to participate in this will determine the vibrational state that is conducive to the idea of open contact and being in alignment with the Interstellar Alliance. Again, completely in your hands as to what degree you participate in this. But there are specific reasons for the timing of this as instructed in the letter, and the way in which it is presented, how it is worded. There are things that it will connect to. There are chords, in a sense, that it will strike within different people in very specific ways. We have, to some degree, in a limited fashion, done a similar experiment with you before as a kind of beta test to see how many people would participate. And this leads us to the creation of this version of it now that we are actually in the Interstellar Alliance social experiment. And this takes the form of step 3 to increase your activity, your physical activity, your engagement, your involvement in your world, specifically along these lines, specifically in this vibration, in this energy, to again gauge the degree of willingness that you have to present yourself in a certain way, to establish yourself within a certain frequency, within a certain vibration, and to state clearly from your particular perspective as an individual member of the Interstellar Alliance, the things that are relevant and important for activities in the world, for directions to be taken, for actions to be taken on your part and the part of others that will allow more probability to bring about the idea of open contact and to accelerate the timing of such. And so, to this purpose, in the delivering of step 3, Nania, I will ask you to read the Interstellar Social Experiment Step 3 out loud to share with all, and allow them to know that a download of this will be available for them to use in the way that it is instructed within what you are about to read. So please proceed.
Interstellar Alliance Social Experiment. Step 3. Send the following letter by email or regular mail to every government representative in Congress, Senate and House, and all party members, as well as to the presidents, premiers, scientific, military, and political leaders of every country on Earth every 3 months until they take action as requested. And the letter should say, Dear, and you name the person, despite military, scientific, and political statements to the contrary, we believe that UFOs or UAPs do not represent a threat of any kind to national or global security or humanity at large. There is overwhelming and well-researched evidence and thousands of eyewitness accounts that these objects have been present throughout Earth's history without detrimental effect on the day-to-day affairs of humanity. Without supporting or promoting any related conspiracy theories, we believe that certain organizations are withholding knowledge of this phenomenon out of an irrational fear and for self-serving reasons. It's time for the secrets to end and a program of transparent public education to begin in service to humanity. Therefore, we respectfully but strongly request that you, in your official capacity, immediately and publicly disclose and release, within 1 year from your receipt of this letter, any and all information in your possession, or that you are aware of being in another person's possession, regarding UFOs, UAPs, and any and all indications of extraterrestrial life, activities, and technologies, and that you publicly state your support for the complete release of all such information without limitation, editing, redaction, ridicule, or falsification. Please be aware the members of this social movement intend to vote for and elect only those leaders and representatives who publicly and actively support and promote such disclosure, and with our votes, replace all officials who do not. Thank you. And this is from the Interstellar Alliance Social Experiment Group.
Thank you, Nania. When this download is made available to you, again, you may copy it, send it out as requested every 3 months, and when enough people do this, and the officials continue to receive these letters over and over and over again, and you allow yourself to do your research with regard to who is willing to support this idea publicly, and to ensure and assure that your votes will change those representatives should they not follow the requests involved in this transmission, then we will see how on your planet the idea of public opinion, the idea of public preference, the idea of the ability of the public to, as you say, move the needle on a subject in a direction that you prefer, will take effect to whatever degree you participate, to whatever degree you understand that you are your governments, to whatever degree that you will stand up and declare for yourself the ideas that are connected to the larger galactic family to which you belong, and your passion at experiencing the vibration of contact, the vibration of the interstellar alliance, and the changes that you may make in shifting to versions of Earth that are more and more and more representative with each transmission you send out to act as a navigational tool to move you in the direction of the version of Earth that will be more and more and more representative of open contact, so that you may experience an acceleration toward that end. So it is of critical importance for those willing to participate that you allow yourself to send it out. We understand again that some of these challenges may require action on your part. You may need to rearrange some schedules in order to send them out to all of the individuals that are suggested within the letter. But again, the degree to which you are willing to participate, the degree of fullness to which you participate will make a difference, and the degree to which a lot of those individuals will receive these transmissions will also let them know what the general population prefers and what the general population will support or not support in moving forward toward the end of open contact. So, every 3 months is sufficient, considering the volume of the letters that will be sent out again and again, the same letters over and over. You will eventually see an effect. And we will be watching, we will be gauging, we will be observing, again, as a barometer, to what degree the needle is moving toward open contact and away from fear and secrecy. So we thank you for your participation ahead of time. And in return for your willingness to participate in this social experiment and your willingness to take action on step 1, step 2, and step 3, for remember, you do not stop doing the original steps. You keep doing everything as best you can, and you add to it with every step that we deliver to you. So, in return for this, I ask you now, in what way may we continue to be of service to you? Please begin with your questions and your dialogue if you wish.
Hello, Bashar. Good day to you. I remember you stating in a previous transmission that once a person makes a change, it is a complete change, and that change includes the person's past, present, and future, and also that you never were that person. My question is, why is it that ourselves and those who are close to us remember the past of the former version, especially if it is something that may not be preferred? Thank you for your time.
Because it is still something you're creating in the present that is relevant. That's why. You create the history over and over and over in the present as long as elements of it remain relevant to the theme that you're choosing to explore. So even though you're not the same person and you don't have the same history, you are recreating something similar every moment as long as it remains relevant to your theme.
Hello, Bashar.
And to you, good day.
Thank you so much. I just had a couple of questions, and thank you for being willing to interact with me. I appreciate it.
It is our passion and our pleasure to do so.
I was wondering if my daughter and or I are hybrids, and you may or may not be willing to answer that question.
All humans are hybridized. There is no such thing as a human that is not. But you are not hybrids in the sense of the ones that live on spaceships. You are not hybrids in the sense of the ones that are created through the hybridization program. But many humans have had genetic alterations by having encounters in different layers of reality that hybridize you further. But the idea is that you are not the hybrids being created on the spaceships in the hybridization program, but you are part of the hybridization program that is going on Earth. for the evolutional purpose of humanity.
Thank you. Do I have a specific gift or one that needs to be remembered or awakened in this lifetime?
Well, what are you passionate about doing?
I don't know. This seems to be a very...
All right. Remember that when we ask you what you're passionate about, it doesn't have to be a life-spanning career or a large-scale project. We assume right now that you are having this conversation with us because this was the most exciting choice you could make at this particular moment. Yes or no?
Yes.
Well, that's all you have to do. When this conversation is over, look at all the regular options available to you, the ordinary options, and just pick the one that has even just a little bit more attractiveness, more curiosity, more excitement, more passion in it than any other, even just by a little bit, and act on that first. Take it as far as you can till you can take it no further. When the excitement naturally wanes and you make sure you're not the one dampening the excitement, then you look for the next thing that contains more excitement than anything else and act on it next. And you just keep doing that. Then it will usually snowball into bigger and bigger opportunities to act on your excitement. And then you will be following the formula and being of service to humanity in that way. Does that make sense? Do you understand?
Yes. Thank you.
So it's not a big mystery. It's not difficult to do. Just do it a step at a time. Keep it simple. And it will build and bring you, through synchronicity, more opportunities to act on your excitement, possibly in bigger and bigger ways. Yes?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
That's how it works. So does that remove the mystery? Does that remove any confusion?
Yes.
All right. Is that something that you believe you can do?
Yes, sir.
Oh, sir. So formal.
Sorry, it's a habit.
All right, ma'am.
In this lifetime or in my dreams, I've interacted with several different types of beings, and I'm wondering why there are so many different forms. I feel like some people have just one that they focus in on, be they past souls or something like that. Am I meant to interact with a particular type, or am I just...
You all have many different guides and many different connections. Sometimes one will be predominant, but at other times others will take turns based on the reason why they're connecting to you, the reason why they're helping you, whatever your connection may be with them, and of course based on their skill set as well, because different guides have different skills, different reasons for assisting you. So it just depends on what's going on at any given moment in your life as to who you may attract to be of assistance to you, be it an extraterrestrial being, an extra-dimensional being, a spirit guide, a member of your soul family, a parallel reality version of yourself that is aware of how to connect with you in this way. It can shift and change dynamically all the time. Some people will maintain a connection to maybe one specific version of a guide, but that doesn't mean it's always the case.
Thank you. And one of those was, maybe it sounds odd, maybe it doesn't, was a mechanical spider. It sounds very strange, but it was above my face while I was sleeping, and I awoke feeling it right above my face at two different points in my life. And it was one entity being thing that actually created a lot of fear in me because I was not expecting it to be there, and I didn't know if it felt real in the moment. But I realized you said that when we're sleeping, we're awake, and we're awake, we're sleeping, essentially. So I'm just wondering if you know the purpose of why it presented itself to me.
Well, it is a projection of consciousness that took the form that you say gave you an opportunity to experience fear within you. So it allowed you to practice transforming that fear.
Got it.
It gave you an opportunity to do so.
Because I find that now I don't have fear when I come across any of the different entities when I'm sleeping or astral projecting or whatever it is.
All right, well, there you go.
Curiosity.
Yes, well, it gave you an opportunity through a representation of what you would have a fear reaction for to exercise your ability to transform that fear and let it go.
Okay. Well, that's simple enough. And those are all the questions that I had.
All right. Well, we thank you for the co-creation of this interaction this day of your time. Our unconditional love to you. Aveo.
Thank you. Aveo.